Yeah, it's your boy here, one bad drifter here, Neville. Just telling you, man, to support my channel and check out my other videos, my current videos, my older videos, and try to at least comment. I'll be pleased. If you like my video, put a thumbs up on my subscribe button there, and we'll keep updating on this stuff. So today, everybody, we want to talk about Bluetooth 2.0, 4.0, and 5.0 here. I guess that you're familiar with them, and for gaming reasons we want to test them in gaming. I know they're multi-purpose for audio and Bluetooth speakers and everything, but today we're just focus on gaming with them in PC. So we'll go ahead and see how they perform, and right now check on 2.0. So this one is commonly used, and it's an older version of both the two, and it's written here is 2.0, and let's open it and see what's in the package. It's around 3 times faster, and okay, you can see the icon there. On the other side of the paper, it's written Bluetooth 2.0 compliant, supporting prefers network, the local area network access, support Windows XP, which is really outdated, but yeah, some people are using it. Windows 10. Its receiving is 100 meters, and on the features, converting non-Bluetooth PC into Bluetooth enabled. Let's assume it's supporting dual mode for ps4 pads. Okay, so there's a silver one here, we have it here, and looks common, simple. So let's plug it in and see how it perform. We'll head on to devices, and we'll use the dual ps4 pads here, and we'll see how it works. So we have to make sure it's fully charged, and let's put it on. So we hit the home button and share at the same time, so that they could sync with the PC. Yeah, it's working. Let's move on to the desktop PC and put it in go to the control panel. But before I do that, I have to make sure we have the DS4 Windows installed, and inside the DS4 Windows there's also virtual bus driver, which should be there. If you download with DS4 Windows without it, you can download it separately. There's a driver inside the virtual box here. You can install it so that it could be able to sync the pads and make it as a fake Xbox 360 able to work. So you can install it here. The other versions, so mine is kind of different, and let's exit it here and close it. So if we go to update, it will work and it will sense our pads, but this is a short preview of what you have to have. DS4 Windows is really important for it to work. Without it, the pads won't detect. So let's move on to devices. And we'll add them one by one, since we should wait for them to add in the devices and sync them. So we'll put that one first, done, then add the other one, done. Okay, so they are all connected. Let's close this and move on to DS4 Windows, where we are. Double tap on the exe file, and you'll be prompted to put them on. So they are all on and working. I've placed the light green and purple. You can also change the colors if need be, maybe red. Yeah, and maybe blue if you want to check on blue. Yeah. So just a small just to tell you how DS4 works, and we have to head on and test it for gaming now. So I just wanted to let you know how it's connected. We can also check the pads in the control panel sector in the DS4 Windows to check if all the pads are working efficiently by pressing the buttons. The X-axis, and those, the triangle, the box, and the R1 and R2s all are working properly, even the analog is working properly. So after that, after we've confirmed that, we have to check on the latency and see how 2.0 performs, and it's around 3 to 4 milliseconds on 1 meter from the screen and PC. That was my my findings. And if we move on to 5 meters apart from the screen, let's stop it again and connect it again. Yes, again. And if we check it, it's around 34.3 to 45 to 42 milliseconds on 5 meters from the screen and PC. That's Bluetooth 2.0. So the input lag is kind of higher when you separate your distance from the TV. So we have to 4.0 here. Let's check it first and see what's in it. And it looks simple, and a small booklet inside the package. It's written laptop and all the stuff that it supports. The key features here is supports dual mode Bluetooth transfer is here. That's what we need here to confirm. And it's also supporting different windows, and its receiving sending range is 20 meters to 50 meters. So that's interesting, and we'll have to check on for our gaming purposes and see how it performs. So inside the booklet there's no CD, and we only got one Bluetooth 4.0 here that is chromed, and it's kind of look good here, and you can see the marking of Bluetooth 4.0, and on the back is CSR 4.0. So let's plug it in and see how its input and latency reading are. So it's glowing blue. Let's head into the devices and the DS4 and see. So in 1 meter, it covers around 3 to 4 milliseconds. That's the latency that's right there. The input delay. It's around 3 to 4, which is not bad. And since we're just a small distance from the screen, if we place it to 5 meters apart, we'll see. Let's check it out. I notice it's around 45 to 48 milliseconds from the screen, and the input wasn't that bad. The latency kind of shifted a bit from 45 to 46, so it's roughly there. That was my reading, 5 meters from the screen for Bluetooth 4.0. So let's stop it here and check on the Bluetooth 5.0 here. The 5.0 has a different packages written EDR, and it's Realtek 5.0 written, and on the back it's written up can work up to 7 devices, Bluetooth for print and stereo headphones, and fast working, with all speakers and headsets. And it's also written it's 5.0 EDR compatible with Bluetooth 2, 3 and 4.0 interface. The most important thing is the dual mode Bluetooth transfer support is here, so our ps4 pads are capable. And if we try to open it and see what's inside, so we're greeted with one more with a booklet and just a plastic package here, and inside it, let's see, it's 5.0. There's a CD, so for Linux users and Mac OS can install it on their devices, so that it could sync. For Windows 10, I don't think whenever necessary, it's good to have the CD. So that's a simple book. Let's put it aside, and let's check on this one here. So it's look chromed and kind of transparent and kind of black finish. It's written Bluetooth 5.0 on the plastic, so it looked great. It feels good in the hand, and as you can see, there's a keyhole structure there, kind of a lanyard or something. You can kind of put it with your keys in, and it can't get lost. So it's a good way they place it. So let's put this baby inside and see how it performs. It's glowing blue, Another thing I discovered, it kind of has a life energy saver capability. As you can see, if I can put it on, it glows blue, and if I put it off, it shuts down. So put it on, blue. If I put it off, it shuts down. So it's a good energy saving tip, so that at least when it's not in use, it can save. So if you go to latency, it's around 2 to 3, 2.4. I discovered it's kind of signal is kind of sharp here, and I was just amazed. For 1 meter apart, it's around that. For 5 meters apart, it's around 24 to 26 milliseconds on the screen, and from the screen on the PC. So let's head on to games, and let's test it on Forza Horizon 4. And as you can see, we're waiting for the load. So let's put it on and let's check how it performs. And for 2.01 meters from the screen, I had to play it and see. On straight lines, it's just okay. And yeah, it's just basically does well. On curves, it's kind of scary to see. Yeah, so let's test for 5 meters and see how it performs. So there's no issues there. If we ride it in corners, that's where the big thing happening, and all the latency and delay can be suspected. So on corners, here on straight line is okay. So let's just push it hard on hard corners. And you know, Forza Horizon, you have to be really careful when you're driving it. So let's see. I almost hit that car, and yeah. Generally, I kind of lose my balance out here, and I'm just knocking everything out. Like, I believe it's the 2.0. It's hard to connect with the road, and kind of messed it up again. So for 2.0, 5 meters apart is not that smooth as you think. When the farther you're from the screen, the way it will tend to be kind of having a rough ride on the road. And as you can see on sharp corners, I'm trying to make sure that I'm on the road, and kind of bumped up on the barrier there. And also it does well, but 5 meters apart is really not that easy, because for a gamer you should just be near the screen. And let's put it here in the festival, and let's test the 4.01, 1 meters from the screen, and see how it performs. Yeah, so here we go. It's really, on straight lines it's okay. It generally does better. And let's go on the curves and see how it I almost hit that car. Let's see how it performs here. It generally, there's no trouble. It kind of plays well on curves. Let's put it on 5 meters from that kind of tarmac road and see how it performs. On curves where it's really aggressive and where you kind of hit the buttons all the time. So let's see. Not really bad. Kind of messy a bit, but at least it's manageable. I can be able to control the car. It's a McLaren, so this one is really, I'm able to control, but on a narrow road it's okay. So let's test the 5.0 for 1 meter from the screen and see how it performs. This time I took the off-road for a test and see how it really, I can really drive. I changed even the tires for the McLaren and see how it performs here. Generally there's no problem. I kind of hit there, but it's on purpose, and I'm surprised 5.0 just does well on off-road. And let's put it 5 meters apart on the same road and see how it really performs. And to be honest, it's a straight line, and there's some cars up ahead. Let me see how it performs with the cars. Generally in 5 meters, it's okay. It just does well, and I don't see any problem here. It just, I'm on point even though I'm hitting the side of the road. For 5 meters apart is okay with this, and it's still playable, yet kind of choppy, but it's playable. So let's head on to open world gaming like Cry Primal and just see how it performs here. And I'll not do any missions, but just to roam around and see the input to lag, if there's any input on the X and the triangle, or maybe left and right, just moving around and in the forest. And to on a straight note, that sometimes if you have a low-end graphic card, maybe you might experience some delays, and it depends with your TV. If the refresh rate is not that great and it's not on the gaming mode, you'll notice some kind of delays here and there. But generally for me, as I can move in the forest, I don't see any issues here for 2.0, and I'm 1 meter from the screen, which is at least a better way to game. And let's test it for 5 meters apart and see how it performs. So I was just telling you, not doing animation a bit, so I just want to save time and just show you that at least the navigation and just movement and everything. And yeah, so let's just see how it plays here. So for 5 meters I'm walking around the village. I'm on the other side of the grass here and just want to see how it performs. So let's test the 4.0 and 1 meter from the screen. Let's head on to the village, and before we do that, let's move on to the thick bushes here. And there's no delay even moving the analog stick. Let's move on to the village, and as we enter, I don't see any drops of frames. And like I said, if you have a good graphic card, it will just play well. There might be some delays here and there, and it just as I'm walking on the village, I just see that nothing works perfect. There's no delay, and 4.01 meters is okay. I don't see any big thing here, and there's no issue. So let's test it 5 meters 4.0 and see how it performs here as I walk in the village again. And I have to plug it up. I have to plug it to switch and plug the 5.0 or 4.0, sorry. And now I'm heading to the village and see how it performs here. So generally, even in the hunter mode, there's no delay whatsoever, and I can see the fire in the village. Everybody else, and movement is okay, and there's no doubt here it plays well. Let's save it for 5.0 and see how it performs 1 meter from the screen. So for 5.0, there's no problem. Even moving in the grass here, everything is just way good here. And if we move around, maybe in the village, and see how it performs heading back. Okay, so there's no problem. As I can see, it's hard to tell if there's delay. And this Far Cry is a really not that old game, around 2014, 2015 there, and this plays well. You can forgive me, I didn't have any AA games here, and latest games I didn't have. So 4.05 meters apart, we're checking it here, and even when I'm calling the animal using X, and I can see that it just plays well. Even sending the animal to hunt and using a weapon and calling it, there's no issue here. So you can see even aiming is just great. So let's head on to Street Fighter 5 Champions Edition here, and I had to take 2 players that I know, my siblings here, Adrian and Nancy, and they really liked Street Fighter 5, and arcade games are one of the most favorite parts of their lifetime when they're playing this. So I had to place them 1 meter from the screen, and as you can see, they're Fan of Injustice, Tekken 5, Mortal Kombat, Soul Calibur, and other war fighting games, 2-player games. And 1 meter from the screen, they had no issue here. They played like a charm. X triangle box and everything was just moving well, and latency wasn't that bad for both 2.0, 4.0 and 5.0. And on a serious note, I had to test them with this game because the game is light, and maybe there are other games that are kind of heavy like Injustice, and the playability for 1 meter from the screen was not that bad, and I had no issues or complaints from them. And even me, I tested the game, and the game was good. So they played it, and 5 meters from the screen, as you can see, I'd had to take different rounds and play with 2.0, 4.0 and 5.0 Bluetooth. And 5 meters from the screen were good. Even punching the pads were great. Even like you can see here, there was no issue. And I noticed that arcade games and fighting games just work well with all 2.0, 4.0 and 5.0. So for FIFA, like you see here, 1 meter from the screen, it wasn't not that bad. The response time and everything were just great, and X for passing and O for shooting if you're using classic mode or maybe alternate, it was just playable. And 5 meters from the screen, that's where the difference came up, and 2.0 kind of suffered a bit. Sometimes the pad kind of shut down, one of the pads, and I had to reconnect it, and it just played well after that. And after checking it out, the 2.0 suffered a lot here. Good, so let's go to The Witcher Wild Hunt, and I'll be just brief because I tested it with both three of them, Bluetooth 2.0, 4.0 and 5.0. Navigation in the menu was okay. Even meditating and changing time zone to where you want to meditate, there's no issue here. So movement was okay, and even changing cameras and maybe trying to navigate to camera and picking things with the X on the ps4 or A on the Xbox, it was just great. So generally, I have to say, for a brief year and to save time, 2.0, 4.0 and 5.0 just played well. I didn't have any issue with Geralt. I don't know if because they are old games, but for me it just didn't disappoint. It played the way it was intended. So I believe that if you have good hardware and maybe you have a motherboard that supports Wi-Fi 6 or Bluetooth, then you could just play it well. So I don't have any problems there. It just, even selection menu, if you just can use the Igni sign here, and yeah, maybe if you make a choice to talk and to take the line that you want, because The Witch is all about choices of what you make and what you talk, and if you make the right choice, it will have some consequence. If you have, so for me it just played well. Even using triangle, X, box, changing the Ignite, or maybe going to the menu and just wanting to use some kind of style, and it played well. So there's no issues here. For 4.0, 5.0 and 2.0 did well here, and I don't have anything to brag about here, and it just did well. So there you have it, everybody. This is the Bluetooth 4.0, 5.0, and I have to say, maybe in your opinion, maybe you can check on 4.0 or 5.0 if really they are new and maybe they are better in gaming, or if you have a motherboard that supports all those, so there's no need to buy this. But for 5.0, I believe that if you're a heavy gamer and you're willing to do much, for $4 you can just have this one, and it saves power and it's great. 4.0 isn't bad, it's not that old, and for me it just played better. And everything just worked fine for them, and no lag at all. For 2.0, if you're new to gaming, or maybe you just want to test for cheaper price and you buy it, I believe it just does well. But for maybe hard gaming, maybe let's say like Forza Horizon 4, NFS Heat, and all these games that really are crazily synced out to work in a high level, maybe frame rates, you can pick up 5.0 just for heavy gaming and just try test it and see. And that's all I have to say. So if you're really into heavy gaming, 5.0 is not bad, and 4.0 still works great. But if you're really you're new in gaming and just want to play the missions and complete it the way you want it, it's really up to you. And 2.0 won't disappoint. At some point you might sense lag, but at the end of the day, your mission to complete a certain game will just work out fine. And there are other kind of Bluetooth devices that you can check them out. Let's say you can look forward like something like Asus, TP-Link, and something like Edimax. Still, they are great and they are good quality and they work well. Or you can just opt for a good antenna, a Bluetooth that has a good antenna for long range. And there are some others that are really great out there in eBay and Amazon, and it depends with what you have in there, what bucks you have in your pocket, and if you're really into them, you can just upgrade them. As for that, I thank you everybody, and let's see you in the next chapter here. What up everybody, it's your boy Drifter here, telling you man to support my channel. It's on YouTube. If you need